Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. Home theater seating isn't the only furniture they carry, folks. They also have bars, pub tables, poker tables, plus bar stools, pub seating, poker table seating to match. The chairs on this set, they came from Games and Things way back in 2004, our second year on the air. These chairs are still perfect. The gentlemen still enjoy sitting in them. Why, it's hard to get them out of here on Sunday afternoons. Games and Things, ourgameroom.com to learn more, or you could visit their showroom, which is just packed with all the things I'm telling you about, plus pool tables, arcade games, dartboards. They got it all. It is a showroom that is a game room. Games and Things. Okay. A lot to talk about. A lot of people have been talking about what Tennessee is returning. We've debated it on this show whether or not Josh Heupel has inherited the worst mess in Tennessee history. Let's take a look at some numbers. Ralph Russo of the Associated Press has looked across college football and the transfer portal and tallied up the number of super seniors. Those are the guys that can come back for an extra year due to the COVID thing. And Tennessee has 11 super seniors back on next year's team. So that's only Missouri and the SEC has more, according to Russo. So that would be a good thing. But when you look at another guy's breakdown, Bill Connolly of ESPN, he took a look at overall returning production. What you see here is those super seniors really don't bring much to the table for Tennessee because Tennessee ranks 117th out of 127 D1 football programs in terms of the production they're bringing back. Now, he went into how he breaks that down, 54% of production. Offense, defense, is he counting To'o and Crouch? They're in the portal. They're not gone yet. But anyway, the bottom line is when it comes to returning production, you're 11th in the SEC in terms of what you're bringing back. So I've shown you those two numbers. Where are you guys on what they're bringing back? Vince, I haven't had you on a couple of weeks. Where are you with this roster and what Josh Heupel is inheriting?
Yeah, out of those numbers, I would side with the returning production more so than the actual
super
name.
Seniors?
Yeah, the super seniors. Look, I mean, we see it all the time. You know, those preseason magazines talk about, returning starters. Well, that's pretty deceiving. What if you sucked the year before and you bring a bunch of starters back? Yep. I mean, that is just used for those preseason magazines in that situation. But I think a lot of guys have been on this roster for a while. We haven't seen the best of them. Maybe Josh Heupel and the staff can get more out of them than Jeremy Pruitt's staff did. But to this point, it's hard to rely on that and expect that based on what we've seen.
Yeah, I just think, man, the transfer portal talent drain. I just think the number I keep going back to whenever I talk about it is you look at that depth chart for the season finale. You got 11 guys plus a kicker that would have been on the roster in 2021 that are not there. And, I mean, that's going to be the story of 2021 for Tennessee, I think, because that is just a level of talent drain that we have not seen in this sport. But Tennessee has a way of showing us things that we've never seen in the sport all the time. And 2021 is going to be another one of those cases.
We had lunch at Calhoun's a couple of years ago, and I told you, man, this place is like none other. Everybody who comes here, there was a former sports guy, Michael Spencer at WATE, who came in and said, what is it with this place? I said, you're going to see things you've never believed before. It happens to everybody. Josh, your thoughts on what you're seeing there and what Tennessee's returning?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's too big of a stretch to say you'd maybe trade the super seniors coming back for the underclassmen who entered the transfer portal. I think that's
probably fair, yes.
Yeah. A positive spin would be that, well, some of the super seniors come back, like a Matthew Butler. You love his leadership and his experience on a defensive line where that position group is difficult to build. You would look at the offensive staff and say, okay, well, Velus Jones, he should have better production with this staff than with the previous staff because of all the obvious issues on the offensive side. But if you go back and pull up just the super seniors coming back, there's a reason the lower the number gets, the better the program is because Alabama's super seniors go to the NFL and Florida's super seniors go to the NFL. Tennessee's didn't.
And, John, one other thing, I think this roster is undermanned in terms of what it's got. And then another factor is the transition into a very different way of doing everything. Scheme, the coaching philosophy, and so many other things. So do they have, whether it's experience or young talent, do they have the right fit for this staff, especially for year one? I think that roster turnover is going to be another factor they have to do.
I thought it was interesting that Eckler was put with the outside linebackers. You may have as many coaches as you do linebackers this year. You've got an inside linebackers coach, an outside linebackers coach, And people would be hard-pressed to name one proven linebacker on this roster, assuming Crouch and To'oTo'o don't come back, and it sounds like they won't. There are some monstrously big holes on the defensive side especially. I do think maybe they can get more out of that offense, but boy, defensively, it's going to be a real challenge this year. When we come back, we'll update you on the Tennessee-Florida game, but also a national writer talking about Missouri says that only Florida and Georgia have an advantage in the SEC East. And I thought, what about Tennessee? Is Tennessee now behind Missouri in the East in terms of program and what's got it going for it? We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.